I'm Nurse Jessica Seitz, along with Nurse Erica. We're Nurses Uncorked, the podcast that takes nursing facts with nursing comedy and makes a little cocktail out of it. Welcome back to Nurses Uncorked. This is Nurse Jessica along with Nurse Erica. And this week we are continuing on with interviewing RaDonda Vaught Part 2. We're going to pick up right where we left off. The day of your sentencing was the first day I ever felt like nurses came together that moved me to tears. It was like nothing I've ever experienced before. Listen, I had just come from the Nurses March, which didn't mean nothing. We tried, but it wasn't moving. It wasn't anything. And then I come and I'm holding hands with strangers. I'm locking arms with strangers. I have a grown man next to me bawling his eyes out. All of us are on edge because we don't understand the words that are coming out of this judge's mouth. Like it was like, listening to jargon. We're all on the seat of our pants. And it was like for one day, if anything you can take from that is that I felt like nurses were there and had each other's back. I'm going to get emotional talking about it. I felt like for once, even if it was one day, I felt like that's what nursing is. Like that's at the root of everything. That is what nurses
because we
are.
could agree on that. No nurse should
Right.
be criminally charged for making an honest error.
There are ways to address that. It starts, if that nurse is a threat, if they are a safety threat, the administrative law has the right and the ability, the unmanaged ability, the wide scope to say, we're just going to take your license away. You can't be a nurse anymore.
Because they have no oversight. They can do whatever they want.
But there are already things in place, and what they've done through this process is just disregarded their job and their duty and their responsibility to ensure that, they do their own due diligence and hold themselves accountable. They flip-flopped, and then it allowed everything after that to flip-flop,
And they did. And I don't think a lot of people
it
realize
started
that
with them.
you have never, to this day, you or your attorney have never been able to see any of the documents of the first Board of Nursing investigation.
No, they told us point blank in an email that
that's not public. That's not something.
No,
you would think, right, that she would need to see that.
Law, right? So administrative law, not civil, not criminal, administrative law. It is so, it's just like, it's like walking through a maze that no one's laid out a map for. You're just making it up as you go. It's kind of what it feels like. What my attorney and I were told is that because a notice of charges was never filed, and a notice of charges in administrative law is similar to like, a civil suit being filed or a criminal charge, like you were arrested, and then you have to be tried or whatever. It's the starting stages of that formal process of saying, hey, you violated an administrative law code. So because there was no notice of charges filed, and because the board did not decide to take any disciplinary action, and this investigation was closed without any of those two things being done, then it was privileged and protected under Tennessee Code annotated something. But then, in their second investigation, which was opened immediately after Vanderbilt's Medicare and Medicaid funding had been put back in the good graces, like in that couple of week period, they said ultimately, like 3 years later in that administrative law hearing, that, they had new evidence. They had evidence to, show that I had done these things
Right.
that
And
they
you
didn't
were like,
find
what
the
new
first
evidence?
time.
Let me see the first one.
What new evidence?
And they're like, nope.
Right.
Sorry.
Nope.
And that's
That
part
just
of
doesn't sound
why
right.
you're
So we just
fighting
have
it
just
now.
have the ability. It is because, you know, here's the thing. I will never be a nurse again. I mean, I am on an abuse registry in the state of Tennessee for the rest of my life. Even when the judicial diversion, let's knock on wood, you know, I finish my probation, I do what I'm supposed to do. After 3 years, the judge reviews the case and I'm indeed granted the judicial diversion and the charges are not there. That abuse registry, my name will remain on the abuse registry.
Right.
It is separate from the charge. I will stay on that registry.
For
Let
how
me
long?
be clear. Forever. Forever.
Oh,
Let me be
gosh.
clear.
So even
I
if she
will
were to
never
get her
practice
license
with
back,
a professional
yeah.
license, any form of
Yeah.
professional license, I can't pass a background check. I'm on an abuse registry.
Right.
All right. So this isn't about me and my license. I'll never get my nursing license back. But I may be a patient. The people I love may be a patient. I was just in the emergency department this morning with my husband. Like,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
they said I was a threat to the public. They said I was a
That's
threat to
That's
public
ridiculous.
safety.
That's
I was a threat to
ridiculous.
public safety. What did you do about it the first time? And why did it take you 3.5 years to change your mind?
Why did you tell me I can keep working?
If I was truly a threat to public safety, then why in the hell did you not do anything? Why didn't you at least at minimum, let's talk about mental health here, because this really frustrates me. I don't know what's inside of me. I'm either like completely crazy or there's some level of resiliency that is beyond what I can fathom. I made it through somehow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm stable.
Yeah.
It was not easy. And if I had not had the people in my life, the resources, the support, that would not have been the same. We'd have been looking at a very different situation.
Yeah.
We just saw it. Okay.
I think I would have been
even
Britney Spears.
Knowing that I had just killed a patient, didn't even decide, you know, let's do a fit to practice evaluation. Let's make sure that this individual is mentally stable to go back and work a job. You know, like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you safe? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
It's awful.
They didn't do anything. And then they just decided within a matter of closing this out October 23rd, 2018 to sometime mid-November of 2018 when they reopened it. So about 3.5 weeks. What changed?
Nothing.
You can go back and
Nothing
look at the
changed.
timelines.
Yeah.
Not
the
with
timelines
me.
are very telling in your case.
Not with
very
me.
Telling.
No, but you can look at all the CMS investigations and you can look at the court documents and very clearly see what changed in those few weeks.
Yeah.
They have a duty and a responsibility. The Board of Nursing is not friends of nurses. The Board of Nursing is there to protect the public from nurses.
That's right.
The Board of Nursing's
I don't think a lot of people realize
is
that.
not to protect you as a nurse. It is to protect the general public from
us.
Nurses. From nurses. It is not, the Board of Nursing is not a friend of nursing. The Board of Nursing is there to protect the public from your actions. It is there to ensure that the nurse follows their administrative law and code and standard of practice, and they're there to hold you accountable to it at a state licensure level to protect
and no
the public
one's watching
from you.
them to make sure that they go about things or do things in the right way. They have no oversight. So the corruption is
so when I ask the
control.
question, how exactly did you come to this? There is no one for me to complain to.
No one.
No one's listening. So we filed an appeal with the Chancery Court, and then we had to go argue this in front of a judge. And the Attorney General for the state is who represents the Department of Health, Office of Investigation, Board of Nursing. It's all under the same umbrella for the state. The Attorney General for the state represents them. And then, of course, my attorney represents me. And he tells the judge, like, yeah, the Board of Nursing and the Department of Health, they said it's not uncommon at all for them to, have an investigation, see a complaint, look into it, close it, take no action, and then, receive a second complaint or open another investigation for something similar, and then, come to, maybe notice of charges or disciplinary action, or notice of charges are filed or disciplinary action may be taken, on the second go around. And even the judge paused at that. She's like, I could tell that it,
She's like, come again?
She took note of that. Yes.
It kind of seems like double jeopardy.
This is what I'm saying. But that doesn't exist in administrative law. And furthermore, to go down a rabbit hole of details, it's only like double jeopardy. You can't be charged twice with the same thing in criminal code.
Right.
So I can't be arrested for murder and then turn around and be arrested for that murder of that person again. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
There was no administrative charge from the first investigation. So even that whole double jeopardy wouldn't hold weight because they didn't do anything. They did nothing, and therefore there is nothing to be called out.
But they still won't let you see any of it.
That's crazy.
If you say I did something
secrets,
so warranting of literally saying we're not taking any action against you. Thank you for your cooperation. There won't even
go back to work. There won't be any record of this.
There won't even be any record of this on your licensure file.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden,
no record of this on my licensure file.
That's how unconcerned they were.
It's as if like they don't want anybody to know that this had happened. It doesn't benefit me. How did that benefit me for it not to be on my license? I didn't ask anybody for that. I didn't have an attorney. I didn't know what the hell was going on. Clueless. I'm just checking in day by day and letting my antidepressant kick in.
There is so much shady going on behind the scenes that it's hard to keep up. I'm being serious.
It's like hard to keep up. It's hard to keep up.
I mean, hearing the whole background, I asked Erica this day, what I cannot believe is that nobody's approached you about a movie. I mean, seriously?
A couple of people have reached out. I've talked to people over like about a documentary type of thing, but I don't know.
There was
like,
someone during the trial that reached out to me about it. Yeah.
Again, this isn't just about me. Right?
Yeah.
There's a whole nother
it's about nursing.
There's a bigger
that lives with me on a daily basis. Charlene Murphy is a big part of this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think about what I'm doing or what I'm going to do, or when I'm talking to people about this, she's always there in the back of my mind. I'm thinking about her. I'm thinking about her family. I'm thinking about how they are going to perceive anything they hear about something I might be saying or doing. I'm not, Erica, you mentioned like the one comment that someone had made on when you made the announcement about the Costa Rica trip.
Oh yeah, there was quite a bit of backlash. There's just little
negative things like that. Like
there's always negative, mean
I'm
people.
I'm not looking for attention. I don't put myself out there. Right? Like people will ask me all the time. You would not believe the amount of times that people recognize me looking like who done it, in line at the grocery store.
Yeah.
In tiny little Westmoreland, Tennessee, at the farmer's market. I mean, the most random
What do
places.
they say to you?
Like,
what do they say? Are you
say,
RaDonda?
You look familiar.
You're like, I bet I do.
And sometimes I just let it roll, and sometimes I'm like, do you work in healthcare? And they're like, no. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. Maybe we met before. I don't know.
Do you
I
read
just
the
have one of those
newspaper?
spaces. You know,
Have one of those
I mean, it just
spaces.
depends on the mood I'm in. And then sometimes I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know, maybe you saw me on, you know, TV.
But I think people are generally
You know.
very gracious to you when they meet you. You
They
haven't
are.
really
Listen,
come
they've
across
been really nice.
any haters in person, right?
No, but I guess I say all that to say, like, I am a humble person. Like, I don't do things to attract attention to myself. I don't, you know, I don't post a lot on social media. Even before this, even before this, I was not a big social media person. You know, I'd get on it, look at pictures of my friends from, you know, out of state, a little bit here and there. And that's pretty much it.
I remember when I met
out
you,
there kind of person.
Yeah, and you said, "Oh, you're that nurse on social media at the courthouse." And then you said, "I don't watch it, but someone told me about it."
Mm-hmm.
A very good I'm not on social media, but someone told me about it.
Yeah. And that's been
I think it's an important story that people appreciate. There's a lot to learn from it.
It is an important story. And again, like I said, it's not just my story. This is a story that there are a lot of characters. You know, Charlene and her family play a leading role in this story that needs to be told. Nursing and healthcare, patients in general, and the general population and the public. There isn't a single person that this can't really affect, because again,
that's absolutely
who doesn't know someone who works in healthcare and who will never be involved in being a patient in healthcare?
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's true.
It's one or the other or both. So I think it is important, and mistakes are a part of life. Period.
Because we are human beings. We are not robots.
I don't care.
I always
what
say
you
that.
Do.
We always say
robots. You know,
we're not. We are people.
How many times a day do you make a mistake, right? And it's really easy to hold someone who accepts that risk of you know, a certain standard of job. It's really easy for people in general to hold them to a higher standard of expectation. Yes, we do. We have, you know, there is a high expectation for us to meet our standards, but they are just standards of a practice.
Mm-hmm.
They're not standards of a perfection.
Yeah.
They are standards of a practice.
Yeah.
Right.
And we've talked about that quite a bit lately.
We've talked about that a lot. About that a lot. Yeah.
What advice would you have for nursing students or nurses now, after everything you've been through?
Have a set of lady cojones and stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah. My husband has taught me a lot in my life. We learned a lot from each other, and we have grown to be better people over the years. And one thing that he has taught me, which bites him in the ass sometimes now because he doesn't like how bossy I can be, or then if I know something and I'm like, this, you know, and he doesn't want to listen, and I'm like, whatever, fail on your own. It is to stand up for yourself and to not be afraid of anyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You shouldn't.
You have to say that again.
You're your only advocate. You're your only advocate.
Should be afraid of no one. No one. You know what my husband's afraid of? Sharks and demons in his sleep. That's it.
I'm
Sharks have the advantage in the ocean, and you can't what are you going to do about a demon? It's coming after you in your sleep.
Was he raised Catholic?
He was afraid of that.
Was he raised Catholic by any chance? Oh, okay. Because I'm scared of demons, but I was raised Catholic, so they drill that in your head.
Yeah.
That demons are real and they're coming to get you.
They're not real. Like, spirits of the realm are not you can't pull out a baseball bat.
Catholics tell you they're real. I'll tell you that. That's a whole other story.
But
let's get an exorcism.
You shouldn't be afraid of any human. right? Like, no one should talk to you disrespectfully. No one should treat you in such a way that is out of place, like harm you or intimidate you or like none of those things. Like, you stand up for yourself, and he's always been
advocate.
He's always been my biggest, like, he's behind me. He's got my back always.
Yeah.
And having that has really, it's been everything that I needed. That is what I would like to tell people. Like, just find people that love you,
Try
that have your back, but you got to find it in you, baby girl, or baby boy, whatever, or baby person, baby human, baby love. You got to find it in you. If you feel like something is off or something is wrong or something doesn't feel good and you're like, I don't want to do it, guess what? What's the worst that's going to happen if you pause and don't move down that path?
Yeah.
If you don't give the drug, right? If you don't make that call, they fire you, you'll find another
better
job.
off. It's better off.
Right.
Yeah.
You'll find another job. And if you're going to, if that's the ending of that, then did you really need to be working there anyway? Did you really need that job? Is that the place that you needed to be? Is that the hill you're going to die on? That's what I wanted to do.
Because they will try. They'll try to intimidate you. They will try to intimidate you.
And they'll try to.
Yeah,
don't fall
exactly.
for that. Like,
be
have
strong.
Right out of the get go. And listen, like, make friends and put your judgment aside. All right. Because if you're one of these people that's like, I would never be that person or I would never do that, fucking checkmate.
What? I hate those comments.
Checkmate.
I hate those comments. That right there.
There's a lot of that. I genuinely
feel for those people. The day that karma bites you in the ass for that statement, I feel sorry for you.
Says. This shirt says that we are all the same. We all could be a RaDonda.
We are all the same.
In any
we
second.
all bleed red from the inside. We all cry clear tears. We all brown, green, or whatever color, gray if your pancreas
just like
is
the I am
jacked
Tristan.
Up. Like,
I am. We all could be a Tristan. We all could be Tristan. We could be in that same situation. Like, and for anybody to try to act like they're above any of that, to me, that means that they're weak individuals, and that for somebody
holier
to say
than
that
that's open your eyes.
Bullshit.
Just open your eyes and look around. Don't be so narrow-minded and so naive.
What would you do differently if you could, aside from the obvious with the medication? What would you do differently with everything that you went through, the whole ordeal and the trial or whatever?
Like, from what point? Like, after?
Do you mean like when they read her Miranda rights that she should have just not said anything?
Gotten
that kind
an
of
attorney?
Stuff? Like,
yeah, I wouldn't have talked to anyone without an attorney.
Say that again, please, because people think that they shouldn't go out and get an attorney or get insurance or any of that.
Anyone without an attorney. And that's not because I had anything to hide.
Right. That is your right.
That is your right.
They're not going to tell you that, are they? They're not going to tell you that.
Well, they did tell me that it was my right to an attorney, but at that, I just, whatever.
But they brought you in kind of under false pretenses. You didn't know.
No. And, the TBI agent told me very clearly, I read your incident report. It was very detailed. I had a detailed incident report that Vanderbilt gave to the TBI. I had multiple investigations. Why is that
a problem for people that don't know?
It's protected. Yeah. And not only was that incident report released, every incident report that I ever filed while I was working there, there's 7 in total.
Like against dietary or something. All of them were just
meal
conveniently handed over.
Every one of them. And I honestly don't think that the nuclear med tech realizes this. I doubt that she does. But the nuclear med tech that filed an incident report down in PET scan about Miss Murphy's code, that was released as well. She actually discussed, it was either it was in one of her depositions or it was on the stand. She asked to see her incident report so that she could, when you say they asked, like, does this does this refresh your recollection when you get to go back and like look at a report or look at something that you've said and it's been a long time, right? Let me go pull up the chart. I don't remember this patient from 7 years ago. She asked to see her incident report because they were asking questions. I think it was during a deposition. And she's like, well, can I see the report, you know, to see what I put there? Because obviously this has been a long time ago. And for her, it probably was years before she didn't have that traumatizing experience to put two and two together. And like all those, the adrenaline kicks in and then everything becomes a permanent memory in your brain, very clear. She needed to go back and look. And they told her, no, she couldn't. But you can't see it. But the TBI has been given a copy of it. And it's now a part of it's a part of the case files. Everyone on the legal team.
But it never should have been.
Everyone on the legal team can see it. Everyone on the legal team can see it. But you can't. And she,
so
I'm pretty sure,
of enemas,
there. She still worked there.
Speaking of enemas, which we weren't talking
the
about.
Worst transition ever.
Yeah. Speaking of giving an enema,
I've never written an incident report.
Do we have an enema this week, Erica? To give to somebody?
I think we do, don't we, RaDonda? Do we have an enema award of the week?
We discussed some enemas. We discussed some enema tactics.
Maybe a nurse
I'm going to let y'all take this.
Perhaps a certain nurse expert during your trial who
she should have worn gloves for that enema.
Yeah. If you know, you know. If you watched any part of the trial, if you saw any of the million memes that came out afterwards, the quote-unquote expert nurse in RaDonda's trial was conservatively older than God himself. And you know,
listen, we can
that's
keep it
fine.
Classy.
But
she was.
We
don't,
you know, we'll keep it classy.
Keep it classy.
Okay.
She's an older lady.
We're just
she's an older lady.
To the facts. We're gonna stick to
she's
the
an
facts.
older lady.
Okay.
Seasoned, if you will.
She was probably the oldest witness that was called to the stand.
Yes.
They resurrected Florence Nightingale.
Never done electronic charting, perhaps? I do recall her being asked if she was familiar with Epic, and she said she's never used it, but she's familiar with it.
Not familiar with Epic. Clueless about Just Culture. Had read 0 of the CMS report. Both the 51, 2, 3 page initially filed report or the 300 plus page report that included all of the corrective actions.
What made this woman an expert? What made her an expert? Anybody know?
She, herself, and her. She made herself an expert.
She
and
nominated
she didn't know what
herself?
ISMP was, right? If I remember correctly.
She did not know what a lot of things were. And she was very nasty with my attorney. You could tell her demeanor changed
She was
immediately.
mean. She was very mean.
And Pete, listen, there's a reason that I chose Peter. I chose Peter because of his demeanor. I don't like those bulldog shark, real abrasive type of. That's not who I am, and that's not who I was comfortable with. I was comfortable with Peter because he is calm, collected.
Yes.
I felt like I could have a very good conversation with him, and he understood where I was coming from and respected what I had to say and, what was important to me. I like that about how he conducted himself. And, he's not an aggressive type of attorney. No. He's just, you can be, but that's not his style. And
he did say a couple little
really
sarcastic
nasty
things under the radar that I caught that I thought were hilarious during the trial.
Some people caught it, and I like that. It was all true.
Quiet sarcasm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was all true.
So
if you know, you know.
The Enema Award of the Week goes to long overdue, but the expert nurse witness in RaDonda Vaught's trial, who I think we can all agree was not an expert in any way, shape, or form. It was a little embarrassing.
I'm interested to know what the state paid her, because that again was a complete waste of taxpayer dollars from the state of Tennessee.
Yeah.
Didn't even stay
It was
in
hard
Tennessee.
sitting there listening to her testimony as a nurse.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
May this enema cleanse you out for weeks on end.
May this enema cleanse you of all the bullshit.
Yeah. Yes. I love that. Absolutely.
Cleanse your life, your aura. Just like, I hope just from start the inside anew. Out.
Just start it.
It refreshes
start
you.
Start anew.
And allows you to start anew. For real.
Congratulations.
Maybe she learned something. Like, you know.
Oh, I remember now. It was all the Titanic memes.
Yes, I asked someone to make that. You know, the part in Titanic where they said, it's been 84 years.
Yes, that's exactly
it's been 84 years since I had to chart anything.
I use
paper. Guys, we can keep it classy.
All right.
We'll cut this.
She's always trying to get me to keep it classy.
Cut this part out
always.
It's okay. You don't have to cut it out. It's fine. Look at
we're gonna be
classy.
Hey, at least RaDonda's keeping it classy.
If she doesn't,
we don't really.
If she doesn't know what Epic is, she doesn't know what TikTok is anyway. No one showed her those memes. No one showed her.
That's true. She probably never saw them.
She probably never saw them. But again, we don't. You know, we don't. We can keep it. We can present this Enema Award and still keep it classy.
Okay.
Which I think we did.
Always. All right.
We did.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. What's next?
Cheers
what's
to keeping
for
it classy.
You, do you think?
What's next?
Cheers.
For me?
What's next? Yeah. What do you think?
I don't know.
Down the line.
I mean,
more sheep?
We're getting into turkey season.
The turkeys
right now,
are Thanksgiving turkeys. And then in a couple of weeks, is literally the weekend after Thanksgiving, we start lambing season.
She's like a real farmer, you guys. Like a real farmer.
Tattoos. I'd like to get some more tattoos.
Did you get one in Costa Rica? You said you did.
No, I
didn't. I don't think you did.
I didn't.
I don't think you did. Yeah, she tried to convince me that she did.
We did. We tried to convince, like 3 of us tried to convince Erica that we really wouldn't got tattoos.
But then I turned to one of them and I'm like, "Did you really?" And she's like, "No, we didn't."
No, we didn't. We didn't. I think I told you no, we didn't. Yeah, we didn't. I mean, I thought about it. You know, I wouldn't check out the location.
Oh, RaDonda, did Erica ever get drunk on the trip? Because drunk Erica is so fun. She is a hoot. Did she ever get drunk?
I don't think she did.
God, you need really tipsy Erica.
But I'm gonna tell you, I learned a lot about Erica. I feel like Erica knows.
God, let's hear it.
I feel like people know more about me.
Oh Lord,
you know, or maybe I don't know. Maybe they don't, but they know.
You got to see my neuroses. That's not good.
I did
when I was trying to get the gift bags together the first night.
I was like, we're gonna go do these things, right? Because when I go somewhere, I don't necessarily like have a plan. I want to receive as much as I can from the experience in this place where I am. So I was like, we're gonna go do this later or something. I had something in my head planned, and Eric was like, no, I have to get all of these gift bags together. And she did. Like, she put it on TikTok. You can see the video, but what you don't see behind the scenes is I had already scurried off upstairs, opened her suitcase, her 78,000 pound suitcase, which like she got stopped at customs for. It was so full, and the lady's like,
that was a nightmare.
Why do you have 17 of everything? And she's like, it's a group trip. You know,
it was so bad. It was bad.
Pretty bad. She was the only person that got their stuff investigated.
Yeah, they're
coming
like, put your
into Costa
giant
Rica.
suitcase up on this table. I'm like, I can't lift this.
There are like 3 humans inside of this suitcase. I mean, it was so heavy. So I go upstairs, I go through her suitcase, and I start pulling out bags of all of these things. And then I put books in there. I set the t-shirts out and I folded them all, and like here's
They
small,
were
medium,
pretty.
like sizes, and then I put I put everything. I divided everything
So wait,
up
she
into
got
all
you.
of the
She
bags.
got you to do her work for her, like she does me.
No,
No,
I didn't know that she was doing this.
While she was downstairs,
Because she
grabbing a
thought if
snack.
she did it for me, then we could go out and party, and it would be
weren't
fine.
partying.
Ew.
We weren't partying. We went to the museum, Erica.
We did go.
We went to the Museum of
That was
Natural
nice,
History
though.
and looked at dead bugs.
We did.
We did not party.
We did.
I mean, that's a party to me. I like looking at bugs.
I enjoyed it.
I
enjoyed
I'm
it.
a bad influence on Erica.
But
all I
but
gotta do
she
is
comes
be like,
up
Erica,
to the
you want
room.
some?
She comes up to the room and she's like,
Yeah.
"We got to take all this back out."
Why?
Because it was wrong.
She organized it wrong.
Because she needed to have a video of all the.
I
In
had to video it.
In her defense, like a lot of people had sent in really nice things. Like they had sent
Yeah.
really nice things
yeah,
for her to be able to give
sponsors.
as gifts. Well, just
Yeah,
like,
I
you
know.
nursing stuff, like people who cared about what Erica does
Yeah.
in her platform and like who are very supportive of her. They had sent all of these things, and she wanted to be able to share that. Like this individual, this creator, this person, this product, this
Yeah,
brand,
I
like
wanted
they
to
sent
highlight
these
everything.
things. And so I get that because, if you just have I was like, "Can we just pull one of them out?" And she's like, "No, I need to see them all."
But then also there
All.
was like a couple travelers that were also on my
All
Italy trip, and so
of
I didn't get
them.
them some of the same things.
Erica,
So
you're a
certain
pain
people
in
had
the
different
ass, man.
things.
You're a pain in the
I had a
ass.
vision.
We
I
had to
had to do
completely
it.
redo it. But I was like,
Wait a
"It's
minute.
We
okay,
had to
it's
redo
fine."
the whole thing.
I want
We're gonna do it.
RaDonda, I
And
want
we
to ask
did.
you something. Was there ever times that
What?
people were talking to Erica, but she was looking at her phone the entire time as they were speaking to her while
All
she
the
was
time.
Sometimes.
editing a video and preparing things for TikTok? And she'd be like, mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
My
But she's
ADHD.
looking
you know
at her.
I
what?
can't. I can't.
You know what? Erica doesn't get paid to do what she does. She gets paid by her
That's
day-to-day job.
I
She
can't
Thank
does
you.
it because
multitask
she
like
loves
that.
it,
I
and 500,000 people follow
Yep.
her and trust her to do what she does.
Thank you.
I don't have shit to say about that. Like I encouraged her to put her phone down so that she could enjoy and take a break. I'm like, "Baby, you got to take a break. You got to take
It's
a break.
hard.
You got to
It's hard.
relax."
It's hard.
That's what we're
It
here
It's
to
a
do.
hard thing
Sometimes
to
they're going to
do.
give you grief about that because that's who you are and that's what you're passionate about.
I want to
Right
be
now.
honest here.
You can't
I'm
be
jealous
her
of
friend
it. I
if
can't.
you're not
I
okay
cannot
with that.
listen to somebody and multitask simultaneously. I can't do it. I just my brain
I have
doesn't
to
work that.
multitask. I have to.
She
I have
literally
to.
can hear the entire sequence of events of somebody's story and
I do.
edit a
I'm not
video
that good.
and write comments and hashtags and hear everything they said all at the same
because
time.
she's so good at it. And again,
I've never
like
seen
I don't like to
anything
waste
like
time.
it.
She's
That's all it is.
she's perfect.
I don't like to waste
perfected
time.
Erica, on
the
this
art of it.
upcoming trip, I am going to, when we get on
Wait a minute.
an Uber or whatever
What's
we
the-
do, I am
what's
going to
upcoming
video.
We're going
What
to a
upcoming
strike
trip?
next week.
Yeah,
we're
we're
going
going-
to a strike
Where?
next week.
We're going to
Washington State.
Everett.
Everett, Washington, Providence, Everett Hospital. The nurses are going on strike. Have you
Oh.
seen my videos where they're projecting the signs on
Oh
the
my
outside?
god, I love that. I
Oh my
love
God.
that.
Amazing.
It was like
Amazing.
the Batman
Amazing.
sign.
It is
It's
so amazing.
cool. I'm
It's
like,
so
it's
great.
my favorite thing. Okay, wait.
And they're not breaking
but-
any laws.
No, it's the most brilliant, badass, genius level thing I've ever seen.
I love that.
Okay, so do you want? I can't believe I'm even going to say this, but because this is really going to make me look bad. But that's fine. I don't care.
Say
Do you
it.
want to
can
share the
always cut it
kayak
out.
story?
Oh my god.
What happened on the
Erica.
kayak?
It's
Okay.
so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad.
This sounds good.
I was ridiculous.
Erica
What-
was
what did
very
you do,
vulnerable with her.
Erica?
She was vulnerable with her feelings. Okay.
I was.
So we had this in Costa Rica. The first place we went after we left, the capital, San Jose, was Tortuguero, in the middle of nowhere. Like it's like middle of nowhere. You get there
Okay.
by boat. That's the only route. There are no cars. we get there by boat where it's national park, sea turtles, all cool things. And then we're going to go on a kayaking tour. So we get to the dock where the kayaks are. And I had already overheard this conversation with, was it Owen? Was that his name? Our guide?
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it was Owen. Owen, and who was the guide for the sea turtle expedition and the kayaking tour, was talking to our tour guide, Tatiana, that took us all around Costa Rica. They're having this conversation about, there are some double kayaks and there are some single kayaks, and there's a certain number of like one or the other. So we need to figure out groups or like who wants to be in groups and who's okay being by themselves.
And I have never kayaked before, so I wanted to go with someone.
With a human. Well, then Owen asks Tatiana who is like the host, because he was like, the host will come with me. And she's like, oh, it's Erica. And I was like, okay, cool. Like I've kayaked before. I'm totally fine just, hopping in one by myself. And also I knew that I had drank too much coffee, and I do not have a nurse's bladder. Everyone on the trip knew, like, I would have gotten out if I was afraid. I would have leaned over the side. I had to piss like a Russian racehorse the entire time. And there was no getting out.
Yeah.
There is no getting out. Like,
nope.
Period.
You're there.
You're sitting there in the kayak. There were about 17 times that I thought about, I'll just piss myself. Like, I'll just do it. So
just let it go right here.
It was probably best. But anyway, so we do the thing, like Erica's with Owen. We're all, we're paddling around.
We go on the
tour. And we get back, and I don't remember, was it that evening, or was it that evening at like dinner? Was it evening at dinner? When I think you were already at the table. I think so, yes. I came, and I think, who else was with me? Was it, I can't remember.
Jennifer and
was it Jennifer and Lorraine?
Yes, Jennifer and Lorraine. Yeah.
I think there were a few of us. We were all like slowly gathering, grabbing our food and coming to sit at the table. And someone asked about the trip, or like how she was something. And she was like, I feel like I was in elementary school all over again, like the last one to get picked or something. And I could just see the look on her face. Like,
I was upset.
She was upset. And I was like, huh? Like,
she's like, what the hell are you talking about?
Like, what? And then the shutdown. Like, I have said all I want to say.
Down.
I acknowledge that I'm upset, and I don't want to talk about it.
Aww.
Like, that was
pretty much it. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like, I'm not going to push this, because clearly she doesn't want to talk about it. And I'm not going to be that person that's like, but just tell me. No, like, bitch, I said I don't want to talk about it. And even if I didn't say that, my face at it. Right? Like, I don't want to talk about it.
Like, I need a timeout right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, then we never had a minute where it was just like, I could get with Erica by herself. And I want to say, was it like the next day after that, or maybe even like a couple of days?
I think so. A day or two later. Yeah.
I finally like got her by herself, and I was like, okay, like no one is around. Like, what's up?
What the hell?
What the hell? Like, are you okay? Like, I need to, like, you need to tell me about this. So she felt like she got stuck with the guy because no one wanted to be with her. She felt like she got
because there was this whole thing of like, and who's going to be in the double one, who's not, and I was the last man standing, and I'm like, are you for real? Like, no one wants to go in a kayak with me?
I don't know where she was. But
I would have gone with you, Erica.
And several other people were there when they were like. Several people overheard this conversation that Owen and Tatiana had about Erica going with him, because he's the guy. Like, he's gonna be like, he's gonna see everything. Like, right. Like, I want to take the host with me.
Like, I felt like it was third grade and I wasn't picked for dodgeball.
That's what you said. That's what you said. And I was like,
I don't like that. That makes me sad.
I did. I went back to my cabin after that before dinner, and I was like crying. I had a whole pity party. No one loves me. I'm going to the garden to eat worms.
Nobody likes me. Everybody hates me.
That's it. No one ever gets my reference when I say that. You get it.
Get it? I get it.
It's
I'll
a
eat
bitsy
worms with
squishy
you.
ones the ones with the, yeah, I know that song.
Yeah.
Was it,
No one ever gets it when I say that. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I love it.
Yeah.
I do
So
know
so
that.
thank you for putting up with all my neuroses in
what I learned
Costa
is that
Rica.
Erica has a very like she presents outwardly as
I'm fragile.
Like major más grande cojones, you know, but then on the inside
I do though.
Like,
yeah, but on the inside I
like
personalize
in person,
things.
You know, face to face, it's very different. Like there is a very vulnerable human, you know.
There's also the Erica that demands
that
skinny lattes. There's also Erica that sends you to Starbucks to get her drink. There's many versions of Erica.
When you offer.
I love her. I seriously.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, she cracks my shit up.
You survived a week in a...
Don't ever take
crazy,
Erica on a 3-mile hike that leads to nowhere. I'll tell you that.
Oh my God. No.
Don't ever take her to
so
fight.
She was like, nah, I'm not going to go on that like jungle walk.
I didn't go on the hike in Costa Rica. No. I'm like, no, I'm good.
No. I did. I was like, I'm going to go. I want to see everything.
We were so excited to find.
I bought snack bars to bring with me so that I could skip lunches. I was like, I got my water bottle. I'm good to go.
Yeah,
I'm committed.
You're committed.
I wanted to see everything.
Erica's like, I'm all good.
It was a good time.
I'm all good.
It was a great
time. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I'm so glad that you came and you did this.
This was fun.
We'll have to do this again.
It's fun to hang out.
You can be like our routine special guest anytime you want.
I'll be your
anytime you want. You know what though? How fun would it be to have RaDonda on a podcast that has nothing to do with RaDonda? Like, I'm being serious.
That
we should
do about that. I don't
we should do one with
myself.
Masshole
People ask me
and RaDonda
all the time, and I'm like,
the next podcast is not going to be about RaDonda. We're going to talk.
She's just going to be a commentator. Yeah,
we're going to talk about some other.
You asked me what I wanted to do. What I would really love to do: tattoos. I would stand-up comedy. But I feel like
I could see you doing that.
I feel like stand-up comedy, like no.
Yeah.
I don't know how I break into that. Like, there's this.
Come with me. Let's go on tour together.
Maybe people
comedy. Maybe people would come watch me if they knew I had RaDonda there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
RaDonda Vaught on stand-up with Nurse Jessica Seitz.
I think
they'd be like, yes, try that out.
Yeah.
I think RaDonda, you need to start posting some comedy online. You need to start.
Deep down inside, I'm a little afraid of being judged, and maybe I just don't want to open myself up to like. I don't want to give.
I get it.
I don't want to give the opportunity for someone to like throw that negative attention. In my direction.
Yeah.
Because I've worked really hard to.
It's got to be hard. That's got to be hard.
Create a mental space for myself that is positive.
Yeah, and you've done that. You've done it. You've put in the work.
I don't want to open myself up to negative. Like I want to be a.
We should bring her on the Nurse Blake cruise with us.
Ooh, I would love that.
Fun.
And my homie Love Matthew is going to be there anyway.
Yes.
Is he going?
He's one of the educators. No, a different Matthew.
No.
A
different Matthew.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Masshole.
No, there was a different Matthew. A classy person in the audience with a suit on. Am I sentencing?
Yeah,
classy
at the
individual.
trial, at the sentencing, a friend of hers.
Oh, okay.
Very
I'd
handsome
become friends with.
Young man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep, I love him so much.
And
he's going to be one of the educators on the cruise. Yeah, I love him so much.
I need to look at my like written down calendar because I'm like
it's in April.
Let's do it.
We leave out of
you got a passport
Miami
now.
I do have a passport now. We do have a passport now. I just need to get permission from my parole officer and the judge.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
to leave.
Well, now you know how to do it. Ever.
I swear, RaDonda, the amount of stories that Erica, I literally feel like I know you because Erica's talked to me so much about you because I've obviously spent so much time with Erica, but I literally feel like I already know you. I'm like, meeting her? What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, I feel like I already know you, right? Like,
I know, I'm like,
this is magic of like social media. It's connected us.
I know it's
I know
a weird
it brought
fucking
us
world.
together. Like, it's brought all of us
we were
together.
Babies. did you ever think, like, the amount of things that we would see, like,
no,
just be
I was playing the Oregon Trail.
I was
happy with that.
Playing with McDonald's Happy Meal toys and like kicking rocks in the dirt outside.
Oh my Lord.
Clueless.
Well,
just
till the next time
wear shoes
when we have
so you don't get ringworm.
Ew. Yeah.
All right. On that note, we're gonna. On that note, wear
kick your children
shoes
outside
so you don't get ringworm, and don't speak to TBI. That's all we have to say.
Yeah.
On this
your
podcast.
advice for the night.
That's the advice. Get a lawyer.
I love it.
Yeah.
Get a lawyer.